by the way. So what I'm going to do is going to deconstruct. Now, the main parts of the gun are basically here, here, the barrel, and the main firing mechanism, which is here. The rest of it is superfluous, which is why it's such a good gun to work with, because once you cut all the rubbish off, which you don't need, you've basically got the gubbins that if you look at any gun in the world, they're usually just made up as firing mechanism, barrel, and grip, and trigger. That's all you've got. And if that's all you've got, you can actually use 2 of these to make something like a shotgun, etc, etc, etc. That's all you need. And for what, £7 or £8? Bargain. Anyway, all you got to do is firstly undo the screw at the base of your gun, of your stock, or whatever you like to call it. And in there is your batteries. Don't need them, get rid of them. You do need that, so put that to one side. Don't forget your pot for your screws. And it's a good idea to make a note. Actually, that doesn't need to come out, so we'll leave it there. Right, pot for screws, and then just work your way around. There's no hidden screws. You can see every single one that you need to take apart. And just follow them around. There we go. Easy as that. All your screws. That's your gun. Yep. As you can see, very, very simple mechanism. The gun comes back. There's a little thing that catches on the top there, as you can see there. I won't let it go. And then when you press the trigger, it releases it. And bang, you're done. You don't need these bits, so these can come out. Do save this. It does go for walkabout. It goes in this little section here. Save that so it doesn't go walkabout. You don't need this. So this can all come off. So we're going to cut this section out. And if you can save it as a unit, you can probably use it on something else, or you can have fun somewhere else. But what we're going to do is all these. Get a flat screwdriver, it's easier. Little screw behind here, don't forget, which you don't need. So you can now save that for another gun, anything like that. Let's just get you in position. You don't need these bits, although I have used them, but do save them, they come useful later. If you can save this as one unit, it does come in useful. But basically, that's your basic gun. That's all there is to it. You put it together, and you can quite literally, because you don't need to take it apart ever again for anything working, you can paint this as one unit together. So which means you can cut out this section here, take this off. So all you're doing is cutting along here and along here, and then all you do is glue up a section, which is what the spare plastic's for. But that's deconstruction. We'll put that to one side for safe. You don't need to take this bit off. That can stay where it is. You've got a little spring here, which is quite important, to try and save that. But what we're going to do is we undo these 2 screws. And lift out your firing mechanism. So that can go to one side. And what you're left with is basically a plunger on a spring. And that's your simple firing mechanism. You cannot take apart this bit because quite literally that's solid form. It's plastic welded together. But what we're going to do is we're going to work on this bit and this bit. Now what I found, I got, because I'm always doing jobs myself, I've got plumbing bits. And what I found was a good idea is you can pop this screw out. There's a screw just here, so that can come out. And it is oily. What you can do is you can bend your spring, just pull it out a little bit, just to lengthen it, just to give you slightly more firing power. You don't need a lot. Then take one of these rubber. I've got big enough. Let's see. What you want to do is slot it behind the existing one, because what you do is when you fire the gun, as you can see, when you fire the gun, air escapes from here, so you're losing some of your power. And that's all I've done to make it fire a lot better. There's that. Now we have to remove the restrictors, which is going to be the fun bit. Don't over tighten things, but that's that done. That's all in place. That's that bit done. Simple as that. We've restricted air loss. Now what you've got here is a barrel. This is why you need a flat screwdriver. You need it long enough to get in there, and a little tap with a hammer will do it. I don't know if you can see that. There's 3 different points, and all you've got to do is knock them out. So you basically do that, line them up, and done. That's one. Line them up. 2. That should loosen up. So when you get your needle nose pliers, there's your restrictor. That's part of your restrictor I've knocked out. And what you can then do is, if you've got something long enough, you can actually drill a hole into the bottom. We'll stop that for now. Right, I had a happy accident. Barrel does separate from here. I've just glued it back together, but you can quite literally just pull it and it does come straight off, which means you can work with the restrictor without having to go down the barrel. You can also remove more of the restrictor or even drill in through the restrictor. Not too far, because it'll come out the other end and you don't want to be doing that. But quite literally, whereas before there's quite a lot of pressure there now. So hopefully that should increase the gun pressure. So you've de-restricted it. Now you need to put it back together. Now here's the fun part, is you've got to get it right. There it is. Spring goes, pop that in there. What are you doing? Oh, that'll explain it. Right, and the spring goes behind that plastic wall there. Like so. And then slide it in like so. This is where you need 4 types of hands. And whatever you do, do not over tighten these screws. You will damage the plastic. If you want to secure them more securely, use a little bit of glue. Shouldn't need to though. Right, that should then, here we go. As long as that moves that, as you can see it does, as long as that moves that up and down, you should be fine. Doesn't need a lot. You can test it. There you go. Yeah, you can test it. It works. Pop your gun back together. See, the springs popped out. There you go. Now what you don't need to do is to put these back together. You don't need to do that. So all we're doing is screw it back together. I'm only going to be doing a test firing, so I'm just doing them around the main ports. The important bits, as they say. There we go. That is now sending all its power to where it needs to go. With the gun, you get these. Now, these are all right, but I find they're not very accurate. These are better, a lot more accurate, a lot better to fire. You get more distance out of them as well, and they whistle. Just slide that in. Open up. That is actually quite powerful. I'm quite impressed with that. If I get this right. That is actually very, very powerful. I am very, very, very impressed with this. There you go. Simple as.